There we go. I'm just going to turn off a couple of notes I have here. Welcome, everybody. I'm just wondering, is it possible if one of you could unmute for a minute and just tell me if you can hear me? I want to make sure you can hear me before we get started.
Yes, we can, Atina.
Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Well, welcome everybody. I just want you to know that this webinar is going to be recorded. So if you want to leave your video off and just keep yourself muted during the presentation part, we will have a Q&A at the end where you can ask questions. So welcome to this informational webinar about the newly launched Curling Alberta High Performance and Development Program. This webinar will be presented by Jason Ginter, who's the Director of Player and Leadership Development for Curling Alberta, and myself, Atina Ford Johnston, Director of Curling Club Development for Curling Alberta. We're very happy to see the interest that this announcement has generated since first promoted last week. And as mentioned, this webinar will outline the high performance program for the U20, U25 team criteria, the application process, and team commitments. And we will also speak about the U18 development camp plans for this season. So just a reminder before we move ahead, just to keep your cameras off and mute your mic during the presentation of the webinar as we are recording it. A link to the recording will be located on Curling Alberta's website and will also be emailed to you after the webinar. Please direct anyone who wants to know more about this program to the link on our the link on our website, and reach out to Jason or myself at Curling Alberta for more information. So our agenda today, as mentioned, includes details on the new high performance U20, U25 team program and the development program for U18 athletes, and will include a question and answer session at the conclusion. We have Corey Morris from Curling Alberta moderating the webinar for us tonight, and she will be monitoring the chat. We would appreciate it if you want to ask questions at the end or during the Q&A to either raise your hand to let us know that you want to ask a question by using the raise button at the top of your screen. You could also use the Q&A area to ask a question, or you can put your question in the chat. She'll be monitoring all of those things. Please note that this is a new program for Curling Alberta, and we are in the pilot phase this season. We hope to see this program grow and develop over time, and the information we present this evening pertains to this curling season, the 2025-2026 curling season. All right, we'll get started. So the Regional High Performance and Development Program is a province-wide strategy designed to elevate competitive curling in Alberta. We're anchoring the program at the Saville Centre in the Edmonton region and the Okotoks Curling Club in the Calgary region. The initiative provides a structured development pathway for athletes aged U18 to U25. Through this program, we hope to cultivate Alberta's next generation of curling champions by delivering world-class training, coaching, and support for U20 and U25 high-performance teams, while providing high-quality development opportunities for U18 athletes and comprehensive coaching support. As previously mentioned, this is the initial year of the program, so we're currently in a pilot phase, and we do hope to grow the program over time. Our program goals are to develop provincial and national champions, to foster athlete, team, and coach development, to provide equitable access to high-performance resources, and to support competitive curling growth across Alberta. So over the next few slides, Jason will provide details on the high-performance U20 and U25 team program for this season.
Thank you, Atina, and again, thank you to all that are attending here tonight. This is an exciting new initiative that Curling Alberta will be piloting this year, and I'm pretty excited to be a part of it as well. So I'll get right into it. The program pillars, number one, expert technical and tactical instruction. So this year, with the advancement of the ACP, the Association of Curling Professionals, we have an opportunity to utilize them as the centerpiece of Curling Alberta's high performance program. So we will be using them and having access to expert instruction. They have been trained to have the latest and greatest in the technical and tactical developed by Curling Canada. Um, the program will include team-based instruction and coaching support and specialized sessions developed by coordinators at each of the centers. Number two, comprehensive high performance support. So the U20 and U25 athletes, we will be supporting performance teams on the competitive and podium pathways of the LTCD. So the U20 being the train to compete pathway that you see on the competitive pathway over to the right of our slide there, and even further to the right, the learn to excel on the podium pathway of the U25 division. So U20 and U25 teams, our goal will be to support them to potential advancement into next gen and national team programs for Curling Canada. They'll be receiving priority bookings for competition ready ice at our two centers, tactical consulting, video statistical analysis, sports science integration, competition planning and funding support, LTCD aligned training and competition, and a clear pathway to the next gen and national programs. Number three, we also will be beginning U18 development camps. So also in the LTCD Learn to Compete pathway in the dark gray there. We will have 4 one-day U18 training camps, 2 at the Saville location and 2 in Okotoks. We'll make sure that we have at least 2 separate days, so day 1 and day 2 at both locations. Talent identification will also be included and aligned with the LTCD as well. And as this program grows, I think it's really important to note that we will not be limiting ourselves to just the U18 camps in the future. Our goal is to include U18 teams potentially in the team program as our program grows and develops over time. So next, just want to outline different areas of our program this year. So Atina will speak to the U18 development stream towards the end of the presentation. But like I said, we have some development camp opportunities, access to technical and talent ID. But I will focus on the U20 and U25 high performance team program in the next few slides. One thing I would like to note before we move on is that we would like to add the provincial champions of the current season. So currently we still have mixed and senior champions that we could include in this. But please bear with us as we still build out the program and understand how much ice allocation that we have to include our provincial champions moving forward. We will reach out to your teams to let you know about the possibility of ice availability and coach mentorship using the ACP. But at this time, we don't have enough information to create a firm plan of attack there with our provincial champions. Okay, now getting right into it, we have our high performance U20 and U25 team qualification. So this year, our high performance program is team based at both U20 and U25 levels. At this time, an individual application may not be received as high priority as the team applications. However, there are avenues to help the full team, as I will kind of outline, even if there are players in different areas of the province. So at the U25 level, we have allocated 2 spots for Alberta men's teams and 2 for the Alberta women's teams. This qualification criteria includes the minimum of 20 CTRS points from the 2024-25 season. So example, in a 4-player team, each member gets 1/4 of the points from last season. If they stay together, they keep all their points. If they move between teams, then you will just have to factor in 25% of your last year's team points as you carry forward your points into your new team. If you need support with figuring out your point totals, just please reach out to me and I'll be happy to assist you with that. The last note there, teams receiving Curling Canada performance funding are ineligible for this, as our Curling Canada funding is appointed directly to the teams that aren't already receiving that funding. All right, U20 teams, we will be automatically qualifying 2 teams per gender, the U20 provincial champions from last year and the runner-ups from last year. So essentially, if you were Team Alberta in last year's U20 Nationals, you will qualify for this program. However, the caveat being you must retain at least 3 of 4 of your players from the 2024-25 lineup. If you do not retain your 3 out of 4, there still is a pathway for you, but you won't be automatically qualified. You will be subject to the tour-based selection. So if additional spots are available, so if one of those teams wasn't eligible based on that 3 of 4, Curling Alberta will select teams based on the Curling Alberta U20 Tour points from the 2024-25 season, combined with all of the eligibility compliance outlined in the application. Curling Alberta may consider U18 provincial national championship performances when making their final determinations, but we will be using U20 Tour points at least to begin our selection process and our selection criteria. Additional requirements: the athletes cannot participate in both programs, so programs in both categories. If we select you as a U25 team, you're no longer eligible in the U20. Points are calculated based on U20 team contributions from the previous season. So like I said before, we can take 25% of the points from previous teams, combine them all together, and then you will be receiving a new, or I guess creating a new team total based on those points. Teams receiving Curling Canada performance funding, again, are ineligible. So if a team, however, meets the automatic entry qualifications of U20 provincial champion, for example, but ages out of the U20 category and now is competing in the U25 category, we will make room for them in the U25 program on top of the 2 teams that we have already tabbed as our 2 Alberta men's and our 2 Alberta women's teams. Again, for any additional spots, we'll be basing the selection on Curling Alberta's U20 Tour points from last season, keeping in mind that that isn't the only criteria that we will be using. I think that is it. We can move on. Great. So now I'd like to go through our team commitments. So we would love to support all of our U20 and U25 teams across the province. Unfortunately, we are restricted to 10 teams in total. And having said that, the 10 teams, we expect a lot out of them as well. So first, we want to make sure that that the teams pay a $800 team registration fee. This is just to show your commitment to the program. As we will see later in this slide, you will be receiving it back, assuming you meet all of your requirements of the program. Weekly practice sessions. So it's expected that teams practice a minimum of 2 times per week. Within the program, we will be giving you access to 1 2-hour weekly team practice per week and 1 guided by an Association of Curling Professional Teaching Pro once every 2 weeks. So you'll be given access, you'll be given a plan, but you'll be given the coach once every 2 weeks. Weekly fitness maintenance. So we would expect our teams to participate in a regular fitness program. It would enhance your application. We will not be providing you with this program. We will expect our teams to develop them with a professional themselves. We also have the opportunity to integrate some sports science into our team application. And essentially, Curling Alberta has been included in a program developed nationwide that does give us access to nationwide webinars within the Podium Pathway Council. So that's a big benefit, I think, by being included in this program. Commitment to competition and performance goals. So in your application, we will ask that you submit some team goals, both long and short term, targeted competitions that you want to include and peak for, a commitment to entering all Alberta playdowns in your categories. So if you're a U20 team, that you commit to entering the U20 playdowns, U25 that you commit to entering men's and women's. And again, like I said, outlining both short-term and long-term goals. We also ask that you commit to a monthly check-in with our High Performance Center coordinators between the coordinators and your team coach. So when accepted into the program, you'll be given a coordinator basically, and that will be your go-between between your coordinator and your team coach to make sure that all of these expectations are continuously being met. Obviously, the commitment to training, competition participation, and the approved use of a game statistics program and performance benchmarks. So this statistics program, if you're looking for one, we will supply you with one. We have a few that we would recommend, one that has been recommended by Curling Canada. Lastly, an added bonus for being included in the high performance program this year is that you'll be eligible for $1,600 in competition funding. Understanding that you'll be receiving this at the end of the year after you have met your expectations of the program. On top of that, just in summary, competition-ready practice ice, expert technical and tactical instruction, and access to some sports science resources. So as many of you may already know, the application form for the high performance program is now open. Applications will be accepted until Monday, September 15th at noon. All teams who applied will be notified of the selection decision by the end of the day on Wednesday, September 17th. And then they will be expected to have their on-ice high-performance training begin the week of September 22nd. So please note, though, that Curling Alberta reserves the right to make all final decisions regarding selection in the high-performance program based on a range of factors, including but not limited to eligibility compliance, regional equity to ensure we have a balanced representation across Alberta, availability of program spots, which may vary year to year. We want to ensure that we continue to receive our funding from partners such as Curling Canada. If we receive any additional sponsorship, we may increase the number of program spots, and we'll see based on the success of the program in year one, the board support may increase, and we will see if we can increase the number of program spots in year number two. Team composition and continuity, including roster stability and age eligibility, athlete development potential and alignment with long-term performance goals, and lastly, the program capacity and resource allocation at each of our centers. So one more time, I'd like to just say that we will consider U18 provincial and national championship performances when we're making our final determinations, but we will be starting with U20 points. Knowing that we do have a large number of U18 eligible teams that may be interested in this program, I think it's important just to at least acknowledge that there are some experience in the U18 categories that may not be included in the U20 points. So we will be looking at that as well when we're making final decisions. Now, Atina will now speak to you about the U18 development part of our program. And at the presentation, at the end of the presentation, if you have any more questions about the U25 and U20 team selection process and high performance program, I can answer those.
Great, thanks, Jason. So we're also really excited to include in this program a U18 development opportunity. So we're proud to offer 4 one-day U18 training camps this season. 2 camps will occur at the Saville Centre and 2 camps will occur in Okotoks. You can see the dates on the slide. It's by individual athlete registration. $150 registration fee will be applied for each camp per athlete. We can take a maximum of 24 athletes in each camp at each location. Registration, as I mentioned, is open to any curlers of any gender who are U18 age and who want to improve their competitive curling skills. So it's important to note that this is not a learn to curl training camp. This is a development camp for U18 curlers at the learn to compete stage of their development. So we're on the competition pathway or the competitive pathway. You can choose to attend 1 camp or all 4 camps. But please note, however, that programming for the first camp at the Saville Centre will be the same as the first camp in Okotoks. So if you attend the October 18th camp, for example, at the Saville Centre and the November 15th camp in Okotoks, you may experience the same programming. Registration will open in early September, probably through Curling.io. Watch for promotion of these U18 camps starting later this week. And athletes who are interested, as I mentioned, register as individuals. However, it is also important to note that if an individual athlete has a team coach, we encourage you to bring your coach along for free. Our goal is to provide athletes with expert technical instruction, but to also provide mentoring for team coaches at the U18 level. Again, just a note that this is the initial year of the program. We hope to grow the program over time to offer expanded opportunities for our U18 competitive athletes and coaches. So just to summarize everything that you've kind of heard in the presentation today before we move into the Q&A session, Curling Alberta is very proud to launch a U20, U25 high performance team program this season. We have 2 regional training centers, one at the Saville in Edmonton region and one at the Okotoks Curling Club in Calgary region. Jason will be the coordinator of the Saville Center and I will be the coordinator of the Okotoks Center. We hope to have a